Hey, you. Welcome to Mad Sports. Let's get started.
My issue with the competitiveness is, and you're seeing this with everything. You're seeing this with the regular season and load management. You're seeing this with the All-Star game. Everything's coming to the point
management, dude.
where it was the whole thing between Stan Van Gundy and Kevin Durant, where Stan said, why are all these injuries happening? We have all these sports scientists and these doctors that are now employed by the teams. Why are there more injuries now than there were back when you had one doctor and it was harder to play? But the issue is everything's becoming less competitive because nothing is important to anybody except for the playoffs. That's why load management happens. That's why Kawhi doesn't play, because in 2019 when the Raptors won, they load managed him and it worked. They went to the playoffs. They ran the table. Yes, Kevin Durant was hurt. They probably would have won if he was healthy, but they didn't. And Kawhi and the Raptors won, and that sparked everybody's interest in, oh my gosh, if we sit our stars, screw everybody else, but we can win a championship. So the way to do that is by, nobody knows the answer. That's the issue.
My question, my problem is with injuries specifically is there more injuries because people are more sensitive? An ankle injury, an ankle sprain. I mean, in reality, I hate Patrick Mahomes, but you saw it. Who knows what they did to him at halftime? But we saw it in 2 games where he very clearly hurt his ankle, and he did not care. Mm-hmm. He said, "I'm going to play."
See, but
it's
would they have done that
in basketball?
Would they have done that in the regular season?
No.
That's the thing,
but
right?
It's different in basketball because it's not really, but it is at the same time because you're running up and down and there's not as many break. But my pinky finger is broken on my non-shooting hand. Play. Turf toe. Like, yeah, it's probably painful, but play. Like, my calf is sore. Okay. Play. Like, I have a sore shoulder. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, little things like that. Like, somebody, like, broke their fingernail, and it's like, oh, my finger, I can't. Like, you saw it with Kobe. Kobe had that kind of mentality where he tore his Achilles, and this is the doctor. Not even that. The doctor said, his doctor at that time, his trainer, whatever it was, told the whole story. He was like, I tried to pull it back down. Ugh. Can we go tape my ankle? Can we go tape it so I can finish the game? Like, is there anything we can do so I can finish the game? And the doctor said, I'll let you go shoot your free throws. And he said, fine. And apparently it was at a shot at Paul Pierce because he got carried off and wheelchaired off.
Plus, the free throw thing is, if you don't shoot your free throws there, you can't come back to the game. So if you go back to the locker room and you're deemed healthy, you can't return unless you shoot your free throws.
But like he said, to this day, like, it was a shot at Paul Pierce because Paul Pierce tore his Achilles and they wheelchaired him off the court. Like, he, it was that kind of thing. But that
wasn't the same thing. He got wheeled off for some random thing.
No, that's what his doctor said. That's what he was saying. It was a shot at Paul Pierce when he, regardless, just play. And with the competitiveness, like, it's hard because baseball, I feel like it's hard to not be competitive when you're playing baseball. Like, you can't, as a pitcher, you can't go out and just, lob it in there. Like, you never get through the game. So I get that, but with the injuries and the load management and we're playing back-to-back games, so we just played, we're gonna not play the next day.
Which they should just do away with back-to-back games.
Or just freaking.
I heard
it's a long season. I get.
Well, is it about load management? Yeah. Okay, go.
So again, back to what I was kind of saying with the All-Star game. Load management isn't going to gain you fans either, right? No. Because me as again somebody who is looking to, like, I told you, I was watching the game where LeBron broke the record, and I thought to myself, like, I'm actually kind of enjoying watching this. But then I start seeing all this stuff on TikTok about load management, about LeBron
he didn't play the next 3 games.
Yeah, LeBron. And all this stuff. I'm like,
after he beat the record, he didn't play the next 3 games.
Didn't he get hurt?
I don't think so.
He had a sore hamstring or something.
Yeah. I will not get into basketball. Also, let me make clear. I understand the concept behind load management. I understand it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I think it's stupid. I think you know, and obviously, like when I was a kid, I wasn't a big fan of basketball, but I was always around Dad, who was always watching Sports Center, so I heard enough. This wasn't happening, right? In the heyday of Michael Jordan, I, as an outsider looking to see if I want to start paying attention to basketball more, because 5 years ago I wasn't paying attention to the NFL. Now I love watching the NFL, right? I will never get into basketball while load management is a league-wide thing. If one team is doing it, that's, while I still don't agree with it, it's a little bit easier to digest. But to have like I saw a video where somebody was like, LeBron wasn't playing, and they were like, "Hey, LeBron, you better give me my money back.
Yeah.
We came to
I've
watch
seen
you
that.
play,"
Yeah.
right? Like, I get that. Like, again, I understand why LeBron is sitting. I get the idea behind it, but I also very much get the fan side of it, right? And I understand that it's easy to do the load management because the money is guaranteed, right? I'm not
Some
wrong.
Yeah.
Some.
Like, yeah, but it's more guaranteed than like the NFL, right? As far as I understand.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the NFL you have to negotiate how much is guaranteed.
yeah, you're getting the, because you were explaining to me last week how you can go to a team just to go somewhere else because you're
can
getting
get
this
bought
money
out,
no
yeah.
matter what, right? So sure, I don't have to play because I'm getting the money, but like you do have, in my opinion, as an athlete, as an elite athlete especially, you have
His
a
opinion as an elite athlete.
no. As,
Okay, yeah.
In my opinion, comma.
yes. You have a responsibility to the fans. They are paying your paycheck.
Yeah.
Right? And it's kind of a funny thing to say, but, and like, while it's still true, this is like modern day gladiators, NBA, MLB, NFL, all of these, like, people go to these arenas to watch people
Your
go
job
at each other.
Your
Yeah.
job is to entertain people.
And
Your job is to do that. Again,
nobody cares if you're the best if you're not playing.
Again, it's not, you have to look at it the same
People
way that
look-
you have to
real
go to
quick.
work every day, and you have to go to work every day. It's your job.
People
to
look
do
back
it.
on Michael Jordan's career with such joy because they got to watch him play.
Well, and that's what Kobe's talked about it. He talked about how, I think it was Kobe, maybe it was somebody else in the NBA. Somebody got in like a car crash going to see him play, and it was like, I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to see me play when I go and travel places. Now I have a couple things to say because I wanted to jump back to the All-Star game and then, but the tricky thing when it comes to load management is, and I talk about Kawhi the most because I focus on the Clippers more because that's my favorite team. So I see it and I can
I'm just kidding.
kind of pay attention
We
to
know.
it easier.
I'm not kidding.
The tricky thing when it comes to load management is like
Load.
when players come off as, like Kevin Durant, when he came off his Achilles injury, you can expect players to take time, play a game, play 2 games, and then sit a game.
Yeah.
Kawhi
After an
Leonard-
Achilles tear or
Kawhi
something,
Leonard,
yeah.
when he tore his ACL,
Yeah.
he comes back.
Play
Kawhi
half
Leonard-
of the game.
See how it
Play
feels.
5 minutes.
Kawhi
every
Leonard
how
quarter.
took it
feels.
excessive this year because there were, and I don't remember a game recently where he wasn't playing,
Yeah.
which is awesome, but he took it a little excessive. So that's the tricky thing when you get into load management, because if you put it into somebody's contract, which people have talked about, you need to make these things in contracts where it says you have to play a certain amount of games.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that because if it's a serious injury where you have to miss time, then what happens? Going back,
You can put
you can.
stipulations.
barring
Yeah.
an extensive
Yeah.
injury,
But-
you have to play.
But so this is where I wanted to go to. Look at Zion. Is that an excessive injury? Because he had a setback recently where he's out another couple of weeks. Like, I'm still under the impression, and after I heard that the other day, I think the Pelicans need to move on. I think they need to get what they can for Zion because they have a great team, and they just need like 1 or 2 more pieces. But is that he's 300 pounds. He is an athletic freak, but he can't stay healthy. Like, everything that I've seen about his injuries is due to his weight. And so if he's not willing to do what he needs to play, but it's obviously an injury, or
It's
like
285.
Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has had a knee injury this whole year. He got shut down for the rest of the year because the doctors cannot figure out what's wrong with his knee. Like, what do we classify as an extensive injury? Because in my eyes, when I see
what's
Zion,
Zion's problem? His hamstring.
something. I don't. But everything it seems like it's because
I'm
of the
dead
weight.
serious. Is it his
And
hamstring?
so I think so.
Okay.
So like those are two examples where they both have lingering injuries, but
My
one person
thing,
seems to be doing things.
extensive or not, I would say, is it a part of your body detrimental to be able to do your job successfully? One. Number two.
Yeah, but you could say your hamstring is sore, so you want to sit out so that you
Yeah,
don't
but that's
rip
what I'm
it or
saying.
tear it
Sore?
or pull,
No.
like,
If I pull it or if I tear it to the point where I've hurt my quads before. Like I could not run. If I tried
And
to run,
they're
it
working
would-
out enough. They're not going to do that unless they pull them.
So that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Like not even that. But,
happen- you're not somebody who's working out every day.
no.
Right? You're
But
not
that's what
somebody
I'm
who's
saying.
out there doing
Are
that.
you at practice at 100% of practice? If you are, play. If you're 90%, play. If you're 80%, play. I don't know who it was, but I heard somebody say, like, if you are 75%, go play.
see, but
75%.
But that's where it gets tricky because you remember.
But if it's a sprained ankle, if it's a sprained ankle,
Well,
if it's a torn muscle, if it's I
here's
tore
the
my
issue.
ACL, I tore my Achilles,
Now I don't because I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Kevin Durant, 2019, has hamstring issues, right? That's what they were claiming. Nobody believed it because they thought it was something more serious. Having hamstring issues, he decides I'm going to come back and play because I want to play in the playoffs. This is the finals. Comes back and the first game he played, he tore he tore his Achilles. Because again, people were saying, I think trainers came out and said we don't think he's ready. His hamstring is still pulling, and
but
again,
his hamstring has nothing to do with his Achilles.
People were thinking that they didn't want to give out the information that it was something with his Achilles, and so they were saying hamstring, but everybody knew what it was. And then he came out the next game and tore his Achilles. So that kind of thing where it's like, you want them to go and play, because again, I understand both sides of it. Like Diego said, it makes sense why they're not.
Here's the thing, having something
It
sore.
doesn't. I don't know that it makes sense.
In the
I
regular
understand
season,
what
exactly.
they're saying.
In the regular
having
season.
something sore versus hey, there's a problem with your hamstring, it keeps pulling.
But he kept.
There's a difference.
My point is he played through it, and then something more.
But again, having something sore versus
Yes.
hey, something continuously is happening.
Yes, but if something's
But
sore
I'm
and it's
sore
because
and
it's
I wake up and I go
but let's say that your hamstring is sore and it's because it's stretched out, and then the next game you go out because you're like, I'm going to play through it, and it tears.
here's
Like,
my thing: if you're at 75%, play at 75%. Don't play at 100%.
Yeah, but then I'd rather, listen.
No,
if you're 75% on the court,
75% Kevin
I'm
Durant
talking-
is better than a 0%.
Yeah, I understand that, but
not on the court.
But we're not only talking about Kevin Durant type players. We're talking about every player who does this. And
We're
there's
talking
sometimes
about
where
the
70
superstars,
I-
because they're the ones that are doing it.
But
Because
the-
guess what happens? The ones that aren't superstars, when they're getting load managed, are the ones that are going on and playing.
Yeah,
So what do
it's
you
tough.
like?
I
it's
think the load management is going to
superstars.
lead them to start losing some money,
And
and
it's
I
the
think
same-
it's gonna. I think it's
the
gonna
issue-
change. I think you're gonna start seeing contracts again. I don't pay just
It's
from an
the
outside
fans.
perspective.
For me,
I
too,
think
it's
you're gonna
the
start seeing
fans.
contracts in
Yeah.
5 years, 6, 7 years. It might be a while, but I think eventually it's gonna lead to contracts having stipulations of you have to play this amount of
I
games.
think there already
barring. Yeah, but
I
I'm
think
saying
they're
even
gonna-
for people
well,
like
this
LeBron,
next-
like
but collective bargaining agreement is
legacy,
gonna be big
legacy
because
stars.
They
Like,
the
legacy
NBA
stars are gonna be
hates
fine.
load management.
Yeah, so
The NBA
as people
well,
come
hates
something
in,
load
I've also
management.
heard from like watching like Stephen A and JJ Redick and these people who actually have ears for the NBA is that it's not just the players saying, "Hey, I don't want to play." It's sometimes the ownership and the trainer saying, "You're not playing. We are not letting you play this game." So it's not just
yeah,
on the
they'll change their
players.
tune when they don't get as
It's-
many
my
fans.
goodness.
It's not, yeah, I agree, but it's not just on the players.